Sabres and Bruins. Usually in Tuesday, 8 o'clock, we go behind the bench. We've talked to Lindy Ruff in this spot and Seth Appert as well. And joining us now on the West Her Hotline is Sabres forward Alex Tuch. Alex, good morning. It's Jeremy and Joe. Thanks for taking a little bit of time today.
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me.
We're all just kind of getting over the Bills loss, I mean, like talking through it. I don't know how invested you get in these games, if at all, and locking in. It's a lot around life around here. The fans in this area are very passionate.
Yeah. I mean, I'm also a Bills fan, and it was pretty devastating. Honestly, I was kind of breaking it down myself and with my teammates, and we were talking about different plays and maybe the different, just what could have been different, or a catch, or a different call, or anything. But I mean, like hockey, it's sometimes a game of inches, and it's one way or another. And obviously, we were on the worst side of things this time around.
Yeah, Alex, I feel like this is athletes. They're just like us. You guys are just yelling at the TV, mad at the refs, asking why they didn't throw this play or do this thing or whatever. Like, same thing.
Yeah, I'd say the passion when you like a sports team is still there. I'd say, I don't know, maybe we were able to draw a little bit of a parallel with these guys a little bit more, but I definitely feel for my buddy there, Dalton Kincaid. I mean, it's tough. I know he's getting some heat right now. It's tough, but I mean that play is. I mean, the way he was able to even come close to catching that ball was incredible, and obviously same with Josh. I mean, I thought they both had really good games, and the whole team played really well.
And on that, just like one parallel, Josh said yesterday that Dalton Kincaid's been playing with a bunch of injuries, and as a player herself, has probably played through a bunch of stuff. How common is it for an injury to be something you're just working through, and to, I don't know, maybe even affect your game in ways that you wouldn't think it would?
A lot more common than people think, honestly. It depends on the player a little bit, but yeah, guys play through stuff all the time. Whether you know it or not, or you can see it or not, or hear about it, more times than not, the player really isn't talking about it, especially in the media. You don't want to tell people whether or not you're playing injured, so it's not usually public knowledge, but you just play through it. It's a type of especially hockey players, it's just a type of sport we play. You're going to have a lot of bumps and bruises with going into a physical game each and every night, so you just got to kind of just play through it and just be as healthy as you can throughout the whole season. And but if anyone tells you that they didn't have an injury this year, they definitely did, that's for sure.
How different is the emotion when, like, it just hits you like that, bam, season's over? I mean, football's one game, so I'm sure it's, this times 100. But you've been to the finals. I mean, you would know the difference in emotions between a season like maybe this year that's not going well as it's happening versus when just, bam, it's over just like that. You're in the biggest stage, and then the next morning you're waking up and it's all over.
Yeah, no, it's devastating. Honestly, it takes a little bit of time to sink in. It's a flush of different emotions. It's a rush of a bunch of different emotions, obviously, and you work so hard. I mean, you start working for it. People are like, "Oh, it's like an 8-month season," but you work for it months before that in the off season too, and the grind each and every day, or the playoffs look like a couple weeks long or whatever, but really you worked all season to get to the playoffs, and I mean, it's really hard to even get to the playoffs, and then to be able to win it all. I mean, obviously I was close in the finals the one year, but looking back on it, I still see myself as so naive to even understand where I was, and to realize how hard it is to get there, because I was able to do it in my first full year, so I haven't been back since. And so it's really tough, and it's devastating, to say the least.
Alex Tuch with us on the West Her Hotline. The team, Alex, let's get to the way the season is going right now. And for me, like, we've spoken, as Jeremy mentioned, with Lindy weekly here. I wanted to ask you about just, like, this team and the group more so, because the team and the group was so close 2 years ago, and it's just seemed so far ever since. and maybe a comparison and like maybe why you feel or why fans should feel that the scoring success that kind of drove that team a couple years ago is still in there.
Well, the majority of the players that had their career years are in here, and then we got some young guys that are coming up that are some really high scorers and some elite talents. And honestly, I don't think we're too far off. I really just think that we just need to start putting it together on a consistent basis, because you see some games that we're able to dominate and we're just not able to come away with some wins. And so I really think we're a lot closer than it may seem in the standings or honestly on this road trip. I think that we played a really good game against Edmonton that we weren't able to come away with at least a point in against a really good hockey team that made it to the finals last year. I know they were without McDavid, but I mean they're a hell of a hockey team, and so I thought we played a really good game against them, and obviously get to win against Vancouver, and yeah, I mean we played some really good hockey. We just have to do it on a more consistent basis, and that's gonna come with experience, and that's gonna come with just bearing down a little bit more on an individual and on a team basis, and the wins will come.
Alex Tuch on the Western Hotlines. We check in on the Sabres, who are home tonight against the Boston Bruins, kicking off a 4-game homestand. Alex, you're one of the names or the people I think about right away when Lindy Ruff got hired, talking about what the hire would be. And I guess, halfway through a season, what are your impressions of playing for Lindy to this point?
It's been great. Yeah, his passion and his hockey knowledge is unmatched. I think he's really smart. He's really receptive. I think he brings a little bit of that old school mentality with him, with the non-negotiables of you have to work hard and you have to make sure you're doing the right things and you're back checking, and or else you're going to get yelled at and you're not going to play. And but also he's bringing a little bit of the new school, a little bit of the small group meetings, small team meetings, like talking to players, seeing how. What they could do better, what we could do better as a team, what the feelings like in the locker room, and so it's been really interesting, and I think I've grown as a person and as a player with him, and I think he's helped my defensive side of the game a lot. I think that's something that I really focus on, especially in the first half of the year, and so I want to continue to be a really good defensive player, and I think we're starting to talk more and more about what I can do offensively to help the team a little bit more and on a more consistent basis.
You say like smaller meetings, the newer school stuff. Is that something that happens more in the league this year? Coaches, whether it's coaching staffs, whatever, kind of getting guys into smaller groups to kind of try and fine tune things a little more.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've done it a little bit in the past. I think that this is. It's been a little bit more prevalent this year, and it's happened a little bit more. So, I mean, we're really just trying to work through some things, and obviously we've had a couple guys with some injuries and everything. So it has been all sunshine and rainbows, but just trying to be the best that we can be by helping each other. I mean, not only physically but also mentally, and I think that that's something that a team needs to do is. As a group is to really rely on each other and to, work through this together. It can't just be a couple individuals. It has to be the entire team.
Is there any motivation to, especially the deadline's still, a month or so away, so it's not like it's right ahead, but the group kind of coming together and getting the results so that the group doesn't get broken up? Because as if a team's going to be near the bottom of the standings, generally, whether it's a major shakeup or some sort of shakeup, there would be roster change at some point.
Yeah, no. So that's what happens when a team isn't successful. You're usually going to be traded, or someone's going to be traded, or someone's going to mix it up. And we saw that firsthand last year with Middlestat going, who's a key piece, I thought, of our team. And we brought in Bowen Byram, who's been unbelievable and for us. And also we obviously traded away our captain, who ended up winning the cup, which is awesome to see for him. And I love Oki and to see his success, but would have loved to have made a playoff run with him. And so it's a tough time, but we are, and obviously it's always, especially when the trade speculations come out, it's always you hear little things here and there, but you just have to push through it, and you have to come to work because it is a job, and as cool as it is, but it is your job, and so you got to come in and you got to work your hardest to be the best that you can be that day. So not looking too far ahead and just worrying about tonight's game in Boston for us today.
Alex Tuch with us. Finally for me, Alex, Jason Zucker this year on your line a lot, power play as well. Him specifically, I mean, he's one of these guys on a one-year deal, so I think there are fans that would like to see him stick around past this season, but whether you're maybe not surprised, but it does feel like he's maybe exceeded the expectation of starting the season and maybe like a third line where he's looked good even when he's been up with you and Tage or power play and whatnot.
Yeah, no, it's been unbelievable. I've known Jason for a really long time, and so to be able to really play with him for an extended period and to get to know him and to really on a day-to-day basis has been awesome. It's been a lot of fun, and he's been great for our locker room, especially with the younger group that we have. To have him come in and really allow guys to lean on him and give his thoughts and 2 cents on a lot of things, and but he's also produced, and it's been awesome. It's been great to play with him, and hopefully I'll get to play with him on a more consistent basis here, and it'll be awesome. So I think a lot of people are questioning the signing and stuff because when you bring a guy in for for 1 year, it's tough, but I think he's exceeded expectations and then some.
Alex Tuch on the Worcester Hotline. Alex, thanks for some time. Thanks for chatting with us about the Bills as well, and best of luck tonight against the Boston Bruins.
Of course. Thanks for having me, guys.
Alex Tuch, Sabres face off tonight, 7 o'clock. They'll play Boston tonight. Boston, by the way, in the first wild card spot in the Eastern Conference right now.
They're starting to show the signs of cracking.
Well, they've won 2 in a row. They're in a playoff spot. So it's Boston tonight, then Nashville, New Jersey, and Columbus for the Sabres.